We are going from Africa to Asia in just a few short minutes. Wow. That was awesome. That has to be one of the easiest transcontinental crossings ever. Yeah, baby. We're in Asia. Welcome to Salt Mountain. It's an industrial site. Large mounds of it all over here. It's hard, actually very sharp. Just like in Siwa. Amazing! The floating bridge. So this is the Suez Canal. 10 to 12% of all global maritime trade passes through. Cool. That's where they're shipping all the stuff. Good morning and welcome to Port Said. This is the beautiful Mediterranean Sea behind me. Over here we have the world famous Suez Canal, and today we're actually going to be exploring both Africa and Asia. That's right, we're crossing into another continent today. So we're in Africa right now, but we're going to be taking a ferry across the Suez Canal into Asia and then back into Africa again. I'm very excited, so let's get going. Yalla bina. All right, let's go. What a beautiful day, a beautiful mosque, and a beautiful city. I really love the vibes here as well. Definitely Port City vibes. Just really quickly, guys. So Port Said was founded in 1959, the same year that the Suez Canal construction began. So that's actually why the city was founded, was because of this construction of the Suez Canal. So it's why it exists. But I really don't want to go on and on about it, because I've talked so much about the canal in the past few videos that I've made, especially the ones in like Suez. So I don't really see the need to go on about it. If you want to know more, then you can watch my past vlog episodes. But right now we are heading to the ferry. So Port Said is the city that we're in now. It's the city that I'm staying in. But yeah, I guess I should probably just give you a quick rundown. So Port Said Governorate straddles two continents, and there's twin cities, Port Said and Port Fouad. And Port Said lies in Africa, and that's where we are now, and then Port Fouad lies in Asia, across the canal, and that's where we're heading now. But they both exist within the governorate of Port Said, so it's one of the few transcontinental metropolitans in the world. And yeah, if you want to kind of understand it better, maybe I should show you a map. So here's a map. This is Egypt, and this is mainland Egypt, quote unquote mainland. And over here we have the Sinai Peninsula, which is in Asia. Here we are now in Port Said, and if we zoom way in, you can see this blue line here. That is the Suez Canal, where around 10 to 12% or even more possibly of all global maritime trade passes through. And on the west side of the canal you have Port Said, which is in Africa, and on the east side of the canal you have Port Fouad, which lies in Asia over on the Sinai Peninsula. So yes, that is a little bit of where we are now, the layout, and we're going to be exploring both areas today. Now the issue is, I don't know if I'm allowed to film the ferry crossing or even boarding the ferry. I'm not really sure. It's always an unknown for me here in Egypt filming certain things, but I guess I'll try. And then if there's an issue, the camera will have to go off. So I'll film what I can. Okay. This seems to be the ferry crossing just right here. And people take this like every day to go to work and stuff. So I don't know, like, if motorcycles, the fee or anything, but I guess we'll find out. Why are you honking at me? How do we get to the ferry? Maybe I should pull over here and ask somebody. That looks like, are vehicles also allowed? Okay, I'm gonna take the cameras off because I'm gonna have to talk to some security or something. Are we allowed to like board this ferry? I guess I didn't ask anyone, I just kind of came on. Cool. That is Asia, just across the canal. Look at all these big ships. I think I might ride this later, just filming as a passenger without my motorcycle, because I'm pretty sure I need to stay on. What? Chill, bro. They really want to rush up to the ferry front here. Whatever.
I did stay on my bike for the duration of the ferry crossing, but I returned later without my motorcycle to ride the ferry again and really enjoy the ride, and I'm going to show you that in a moment. But first, here's the crossing of the Suez Canal, sped up while I sat on my motorcycle.
So cool. So we just crossed from Africa into Asia within a few minutes by crossing the Suez Canal. That is awesome. That has to be one of the easiest transcontinental crossings ever. Wow. So now we are in Asia and the Sinai Peninsula, you guys. This is Port Fouad. And this is my first time in Port Fouad. I have briefly been in Port Said a few years ago, but very, very briefly. So really, I feel like it's the first time for me to visit both cities, but definitely it's my first time even setting foot in Port Fouad. So this city is not as old as Port Said, but it is relatively around the same time. I mean, 1929, no, I guess it's quite a bit later, but it basically extended out as a residential area of Port Said. So the people that were working on the canal, engineers, whatever, they expanded out, and so they kind of built this as a garden city. So it was established in 1929. And it has a lot of different influences in it. A lot of these cities up and down the canal did, though, and do, because you know, the French Suez Canal Company, you know, a bunch of French came over. You also had Italians and Greeks and the British. So there's a lot of different influences that we will see perhaps in the buildings, like over there. Yeah, that definitely. Let's go around over there and check it out. But you'll find buildings like this in both cities, in Ismailia, maybe even a bit in Suez. I can't recall. But yeah, baby, we're in Asia. So this is what, old colonial houses, I believe, built by the French or some Europeans, probably. Looks like this is a construction zone, so let's turn around. But yeah, that is definitely a historic building. That was cool to ride the ferry. I didn't want to get off my bike, and I didn't really talk a whole lot. I didn't want to move around a lot because well, first I had to stay on my bike, and the ship was moving a bit, so especially when it takes off and then arrives to the port on the other side, there's a bit of movement, so I had to keep my bike steady. But I might take this ferry another time and get off the motorcycle, or even just park the motorcycle and then take the ferry back and forth and see if I can film a bit more. And if I do that, I will have overlaid it in the video and edited it into the video. Wow, look at this huge villa. This had to have been something like, no one is living there, right? This had to have been some kind of headquarters for meetings for the Suez Canal Company or something. I don't know. But yeah, there's this whole, I don't want to call it French Quarter, but like the immigrant quarter, the Italian quarter, or your French Quarter, European Quarter, whatever you want to call it. Suez Canal Authority villas, I actually think it's called, the technical name. But you have these buildings over in Port Said as well. There's sections in Port Said, and those are actually older because these are dating back to 1926. And Port Said, of course, being older than Port Fouad, has some villas like this that are even older. But yeah, the engineers and stuff like that, people stayed there. We've already explored that a bit in Ismailia though as well. Let us go and explore more of Port Fouad. And let's head to an attraction. which I will put into my maps and then tell you about as we're heading there or when we arrive there. All right, let's go through a cruise through Port Fouad. Wow, fucking hell. Anyhow, yeah, we are heading to Salt Mountain. What the hell is Salt Mountain? In short, it's basically just a giant pile of harvested sea salt that is used for export and then like accidentally became a tourist attraction. Like this, where this salt pile is actually, they're still working there, like it's used for export. So it's an industrial site. In case you're wondering where the salt comes from, it is from just various salt flats along the Mediterranean coast that they collect and then bring to Port Said to, of course, export and ship around the world in the ships and boats that they have. So yeah, Port Fouad is obviously definitely a lot smaller. Like I said, it was built in 1929 to use as a residential area for the people working in the Suez Canal or on the Suez Canal. It's definitely a lot more quiet. These buildings are not beautiful though, I will say. I don't like these like cold, sterile looking buildings. Maybe the more of the city proper is down that way. I'm not super into like colonial history, to be honest. Like I really don't care. Look at this. It's gonna make an accident. Can we go now? I go with you. Yeah, so I don't really honestly care that much about the French, European buildings and whatever. But it's a part of the history, so I'm just kind of briefly mentioning it. Oh. Well, to be honest, this side of the city, I don't like it. I feel kind of like there's no soul, and it's not very beautiful. Sorry, Port Fouad, but I'm sure I'm in the wrong area. I think I'm traveling on the outskirts. Am I? I don't even know. It's hard to see how I'm looking at this map. I think we have reached Salt Mountain. It says to go in this way, but I feel like any way would be fine. Well, this is a beautiful mosque. I wonder if they're charging for entry into Salt Mountain. أهلا. عايزة نروح Salt Mountain. Salt Mountain. Oh, okay. شكرا. Okay. So this way, I guess. Yeah, here we go. I mean, it literally could have just passed through there, but okay. We're here. All right, I'm gonna switch cameras, guys. Welcome to Salt Mountain. Yes, here we are. As described, it is a giant pile of salt, large mounds of it all over here. Anyways, so this is it. It's just a little hill. This seems to be the popular one where everyone is. It's hard. Like rock, actually very sharp. Just like in Siwa. A lot of people, including myself, don't expect the salt to be rock crystal hard. So when I was climbing into the pools in Siwa the first time, it cuts your feet up, like it's so sharp. But you also don't want to damage whatever shoes you have by going into the salt pools with your shoes on. So unless you bring some like throwaway flip-flops, shib, whatever, you might ruin your shoes in Siwa for the salt pools. But yeah, that's amazing. So there's some loose salt here. Should we climb to the top? Let's go. I have my motorcycle boots on. So people like it because it looks like snow, which they don't really have much of here in Egypt. Although it just snowed in Sinai recently. That's cool. It's beautiful when you see Sinai in snow.
هنا اوكي يلا انا بنزلها معي.
So that's it, guys. Just wanted to look at it really quick. But let's continue. Winds more powerful up here. Oh, بالظبط. I'll be back. Cute. She was like, "Are you making YouTube?" So I gave her my channel, Maha, and she's from Eritrea, but she's been living in Egypt since 2018, studying here, and she's on a little group trip with her friends. Anyhow, so I'm out of here. Let's go cruise around, or really, let's just head back into Port Said, because I don't feel like there's a whole lot to see here or do here in Port Fouad, but I think it was really cool to cross the ferry. And I'm gonna try to cross a floating bridge, but I don't know that it is there right now. I don't know actually anything about it, but I saw it on the maps and I was like, floating bridge, huh? But it makes more sense that people would take the ferry, and they would want people to take the ferry and not the floating bridge, because the floating bridge would disrupt traffic in the canal, I'm assuming, right? So maybe it's just for special occasions, or they shut the canal down for a brief period for like a bunch of diplomatic cars to pass through or something. I have no idea. Anyways, let's go and find out if it's open. Goodbye, Salt Mountain. I forgot to mention, by the way, that costed £5. So there was an entry fee, but £5 is nothing, and that's what it was. So no worries. Little pile of salt. Might as well make a tiny bit of money off of it. Enterprise. Anyway, so now we are gonna cruise over to this floating bridge, which I don't have high hopes of being open, but it is literally 5 minutes away, so I just want to try. I see a lot of vehicles coming from this way. Is this just more of the city, or can we cross a bridge? That would be cool. That would be cool. I don't trust this truck. What is that? Coal? Coal just fell out. Ooh, I'm getting coal dust spray. Let's go past him. Let's go quickly. I think it's open. I mean, yeah, it is open. Look at, there's people crossing it. Cool. Were they talking to me? I don't think so. I see other motorcycles crossing here, so. And they were yelling at another guy before. Wow, look at this! Amazing! The floating bridge. I think this is Gamal Abdel Nasser, which is the leader who, Egypt's leader, president who nationalized the Suez Canal. So cool that we get to see this. I'm glad I tried. I honestly almost didn't because I thought, nah, it's not gonna be open or I won't be allowed on it. But totally fine. Nice. So this is the Suez Canal. All of these ships. Cool. I'm trying to see where I am. I think everything is to our right. Port Said and all of that is way, way up there. So that's where we're gonna head next. Let's go explore Port Said and get a little bit of look at the city, because we didn't see a whole lot, you know, just driving in, but now I want to cruise around and see more of the architecture. What an experience, though. Crossing the Suez Canal and back into Africa again. So cool. Now, which way do I go? I have no idea. I think I'm supposed to go down, maybe. Either. No. That goes to the left. Okay, this way is the way then. Amazing. More look at it. Oh, I do love myself coastal cities. The water, fresh air, gorgeous. Oh, big bump. A lot of dust though, wow. I don't think I'm going the right area. I don't remember taking this before. Like, granted, I didn't come from this direction, but... Excuse me, doggy. Thank you. Jeez. Poor tires. I think Google's giving me a weird route. I don't know if I'm supposed to be back here. Anyways, we're close to a lot of these ships. So that's kind of cool. Very dusty though. Yeah, this is like the workman's area. I don't feel like civilians supposed to be coming through here. Cool. That's why they're shipping all the stuff. Maybe they just think I'm Talabat. That would be funny, huh? I'm Talabat. Delivery service. Well, there's a taxi in here, so I guess some people are allowed through. Just a weird route. But we get to see more of the working side of Suez, which is cool to see all those like big container ships. Fish export. Wonder where they're shipping fish to. Traffic jam, 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 jam. I'm not trying to go around. I'll wait. I want to follow the taxi, kind of stick with him. Oh. What a fun surprise. Passing through that industrial area. And you have all of these containers still back here. This is where the real work happens. Yeah, I didn't realize we were able to get so close. That's cool. Wow, this is open street. Nice. Back into Port Said. Amazing. I know I keep saying that, but it's pretty awesome. Wow. You know, there's a lighthouse that is very famous. Look at this statue. There's quite a few statues in this city. I don't know who that is, but I saw one earlier of the Nasser, Gamal Abdel Nasser, the president, again, who the bridge is named after. Go, bro. Oh, straight ahead of us is the building where the Suez Canal Company used to operate from. That was their base, their headquarters. I don't know how well you can see it on the GoPro, but it's that one with the construction happening, the blue dome. And now I do believe it is the port authority for the Suez Canal, if I'm not mistaken. That's now where they operate from. But yeah, that was built in what? Let me see if I can remember. 1895. I'm guessing. If I'm wrong, I'll write it the true date in the subtitles here. Anyways, I don't think we can get a whole lot closer, but look at that. There's two other domes. I should have actually filmed from Port Fouad side a little bit. Maybe I will do that later. Yeah, there it goes. The tour guide in Ismailia was actually talking about that, because there's a miniature replica of that in the Suez Canal Museum in Ismailia. And he said they replaced. There used to be a different insignia on the building, and then they replaced it. But I'm not a tour guide or a historian, so he knows that information, not me. I'm just repeating a few things I remembered. Oh, don't you just hate when taxis do that? They drive in front of people. Like, need a ride? Nope, I don't need a ride. So annoying, I hate that. Anyways, alright. We are back by the pier. There's a kind of a better look of the building. Oba. Go taxi, move it. Yeah. I don't know how to describe the city and its vibes, but I can say that I like it. What I want to say wouldn't be accurate, because I wanted to say it reminds me of Buenos Aires, but it's not like Buenos Aires, but somehow it kind of reminded me of it. Buenos Aires is massive. Port Said is not. The only common thing that they have is that they're both port cities. So, but yeah, I don't know why. I just kind of got this feeling, and you can't put it into words. Not the whole city, but just, well, yeah, just cruising around on my bike, I felt that way. Anyhow. Yeah, maybe we can pop over by the lighthouse. I don't think they're gonna let me film there though anyways. You know what? I'm gonna try, and then if they don't let me, I'll just film with my phone. First I gotta input that location though. So this is the lighthouse of Port Said behind me, and it is one of the few remaining structures from when the city was built. So this lighthouse was built in 1869, the same year that the Suez Canal officially opened. And it's actually pretty unique because it is made of reinforced concrete, which at that time was not being used almost anywhere, but now reinforced concrete is used to, make almost all the buildings. So it was very unique because it was one of the first structures in the world of this size to be made with reinforced concrete. Before that, there was just a few testing, like buildings in France, some like flower pots. So this was a huge thing, and it still remains today as a remnant of times past. I'm glad that they left it standing. It stopped being used in 1997, but they have left it here as a testament to the birth of this city. And of course we have a canal right behind me, this beautiful walkway along it, breezy, cool, clean. Anyways, yeah, I just wanted to show you guys that really quickly. But I think I'm actually going to end the vlog here. I will go cruising around a little bit more and make one more video here though, because I feel like I haven't shown you a lot of the city. So stay tuned for that. We'll just drive around a little bit more of Port Said. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. By the way, I do give tours. I should mention this because I always forget to. But my husband and I organize tours for people, trips. I don't personally lead the tours, but I connect people that are visiting Egypt with guides that I know and trust and drivers. So if you are visiting Egypt and looking for a service like that, you can always message my husband and I. I always leave the WhatsApp number in the description of the videos. So anyways, all right, give it a big like, and I will catch you on the next one. Ma salama.